Hi, I'm Father Jim Forson, and I'd like to offer you a few reflections on this Easter Sunday. And first, Happy Easter. Let me ask you this question. What is the meaning of Easter? That may sound like kind of an odd question, but stop and think about it just for a moment. What does Easter mean to me? Well, if you were to ask a child that question, believe me, they would know the answer right away. When I talk to the first graders or the kindergarten kids about what does Easter mean, they know the answer right away. It's Easter bunny. And what do we do on Easter? Easter egg hunts. I mean, Easter Mass is something we have to hurry up and get through so that we can get over to grandma's backyard. I know these grandparents that have this big backyard and they hide Easter eggs all over. And when the grandkids get there, they can hardly wait. And somebody finally waves the checkered flag and they race off like wild pirates looking for buried treasure, getting all those Easter eggs. So, I mean, they know exactly what Easter is all about. But for us, what does Easter signify to me? Well, I guess we'd say the natural thing, the resurrection means that there's life after death. And that's true. But for God to reveal that message to us, that there's life after death, did he really have to go through all that he went through in order to convey that message to us? The coming to be born among us and walk with us and then suffer and die just to let us know that there's life after death? I mean, there would have been a lot easier ways and just as effective ways to communicate that message. I mean, after all, Moses went up Sinai and came back with the tablets, the Ten Commandments. That pretty much did the trick, as did parting the waters of the Red Sea. That got the message across. I think there are other ways that God could have simply revealed to us that there's life after death without having to go through all that Jesus had to go through. So, why this way? And what's the meaning of it? Well, we could, oddly enough, find our minds closed to what the resurrection truly means, because we can find ourselves in a situation similar to that of the apostles, who, after the death of Christ, found themselves in a world that frightened them. They had locked themselves away, assuming that they were the next to be rounded up. They were the next to be crucified, and who wouldn't be frightened of that? And so they were living in a world that was just swirling around them, that was so fearful. And Mary of Magdala, she goes off to the tomb that Easter Sunday and finds the rock rolled away and the tomb empty, and she just runs to the apostles to let them know. And then they get the message, and then Peter and the other apostle, they run. And you notice John includes that detail. Everybody's running. Mary Magdala is running. John and the beloved disciple, Peter and the beloved disciple, they're running. Why? Why does John in his gospel include that detail? Well, I think he does, because he is showing that everybody's anxious. People are running because of all the anxiety that is in their life. Christ suffering, Christ dying, now the body's gone, and they run to the tomb, and Peter goes into it, and he sees the rock rolled away, he sees the tomb empty, he sees the burial cloths thrown off to the side, and he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know what's going on. At that moment, his mind is closed to the meaning of those events. And we can find ourselves in a situation similar to that of the apostles. Our minds closed to the meaning of the resurrection, the meaning of those events, because we have life swirling around us too. I mean, right now we're in the middle, I hope, of this banking crisis. I hope it's the middle of it. Not knowing where this is going to go. I mean, are the banks going to be okay? Is my 401k safe? Am I going to have my retirement funds there for me? It's kind of worrisome if I go to the ATM machine and I get an IOU coming out of it. So what's going on? And not just that, but look at the Ukraine. We're going into the second year of war there. And how's this thing going to end? And so these events are swirling around us right now. And here at home, when I look into my own city and I see the homeless problem or the immigration problem, and what's going to resolve that? And not just out there, but in here, inside my own home, and the difficulties I'm dealing with, or inside my own life. And so I can find myself, like Peter, caught up in all the events going on around me and going on within me, and my mind might not see the meaning of the events. There was a late 18th century poet, the Jesuit priest, Gerard Manley Hopkins. He found himself once in a situation where life was overwhelming him. He had left his native England, was working in Ireland teaching, and Ireland itself was in the middle of terrible political upheaval, and everyone was being caught up in it, and his own health wasn't good, and he was just found himself in a very dark moment in his own life. And in that dark moment, he wrote this incredible poem called The Comfort of the Resurrection. And the poem begins with him writing about how mankind is no different than the rest of nature. It comes, it goes. There's no mark that ever remains. And man is just like the earth that gets beat down and trodden down, and nothing special to him. And in the middle of these dark thoughts, it changes suddenly. And he writes, "Enough! The resurrection, a heart's clarion. Away, grief's gasping, joyless days, dejection. Across my foundering deck shone a beacon, an eternal beam. And in a flash, at a trumpet crash, I am all at once what Christ is, since he was what I am. And this Jack, that is, this ordinary person, this joke, this poor potsherd, bits of broken pottery, this patch, this matchwood, this immortal diamond, is immortal diamond." He realizes how God sees us. The resurrection reveals to us that in God's eyes, we are immortal diamond. And that is why he came to be born among us. That is why he walked this earth with us. That is why he healed us. That is why he did all that, so he could wear our smudge and share our smell, even to the point of dying and resurrecting, to show us how God sees us as immortal diamond. Or as Isaiah so simply says, "You are precious in my eyes and glorious, and I love you." And that's the meaning of the resurrection. And if we were to see that and embrace and understand the meaning of those events, that we are immortal diamond, it would change everything. It would change the way I see myself in God's eyes, and what I am, what my nature truly is. That's what the resurrection reveals to us, what our nature truly is. And it would change the way I would look at this world. It would change the way I treat my family, my friends. It would change everything. Immortal diamond. You know, there's one small detail too in John's gospel. He continuously refers to this character called the beloved disciple. And the question has been asked, who is this guy? And we don't know for sure. Some theorize that it may have been another member of the early apostolic community that went unnamed, or it might have been John himself modestly using this pseudonym, or it might have been a literary device where John was using that as a way of telling the reader, you are to be the other disciple, the beloved disciple. That's what you're supposed to become. Because at that graveside, when Peter did not understand the meaning of the events, the other disciple looked in and he saw the empty grave. He saw the burial cloths. And as it said in the scripture, he saw and he believed. He got it. He understood the meaning of the events. And so on this Easter Sunday, may we all be the beloved disciple. May we all see these resurrection events, and may they mean for us that in God's eyes, we are His immortal diamond. A blessed Easter.